those structures are so perfectly and complex and beautiful, right?
Yes.
So of course you kept doing this, Ray, so that you could recreate the anxiety, right? Which you now see as poison, but you can get that how you confused it for nutrition was that it gave you a sense of security and familiarity. And security and familiarity is good, isn't it? Oh, totally. But it's outdated.
Yes. And in recognizing that, right? In recognizing this, I now have the opening. What do I do with the opening? That opening in itself is ecstatic.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And that's natural.
It's natural. It's part of.
It's like
it's part of the nature of human being.
The midwife. We got to give that space. We got to let the impact happen, right? And there is oftentimes. This is where I think what's his face was right. Is underneath that conceptual lattice work. When you're freed of it, there is this emotional congestion, right? And it's cleansing out, right? And then
a reclaiming of that which was lost, the prodigal son.
And then this experience of space. And what I always like to say is like, so what? Oh, it's like I feel space. I feel this like openness. I was like, huh? Say more about that. Yeah, it's like, huh? Is it possible that thing right there that you're feeling right there, is that possible that that's you? This is the one woman, she's so cool. Midwest, right? Midwestern, like totally outside of our social culture and DCLT. She's like, do you mean this is me? Oh my God! This is me? This is what I feel like! In fact, there is something familiar about it, even though I've never experienced it. I was like, wait a minute, do you realize how profound, what profundity you just said? And then she's like, oh, this is going to make everything different. I need to bump.
Once you get the opening, then from that space, you then go, oh, and I need to do this,
what's
and
cool
this.
about that is that I noticed that future pacing is what the mind naturally does once it gets a new insight. It does it naturally.
Yes.
Now,
and the meditative practices teach you not to do that.
Yes. This is what I want. This is what. Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, so I love the way this guy puts it. He takes Wincott's holding environment, okay, and he expands it out. I love looking at it like this.
Who is this guy?
The guy I was telling you about, where he does a process where he goes, all right, here's now, here's future stories, past stories.
Yeah, where he does the tic-tac.
Okay, so I want to take it a step further. So what you do, it's actually fucking a cool process. Mm-hmm. You stand in the center, right? And you guide them into the present moment, right? The breathing. Notice, okay, now, take a step into the me quadrant. What is it that you should be? Were you wrong? And you start to narrate the stories. And now feel the impact. Does it feel heavy? Right? Feel when you're in that narrative and you're running those stories, feel the effect on you. Feel that. Mm-hmm. Allow the feelings to come up. Mm-hmm. Be in the experience of it. that. Now step back into the now. And then look back and kind of basically feel the difference, right? You do all that with those things, and you just keep doing that. And what's so cool about that?
And the top is the future, and the bottom is the past.
Yes.
And what is the you versus the me?
Them. Others.
Okay. Now, question about this, just because I'm curious. When you stepped into the me position,
That's I. Stories about myself.
Okay, the I position. You took a superego perspective on it. Mm-hmm. What should you be?
Yeah, there's just different.
And how do you feel about it? So he doesn't ask just that question. It's just.
Yeah, I was just giving an example.
Okay, great.
He just has you inquiry. Yeah,
do
to
various types of
elicit your narratives about yourself, right?
Right?
Things you tell yourself, right?
Got it.
Feel that feeling fully as it is. Let yourself experience the consequences and the impact of those stories. Feel it on your body. Describe what it feels like.
Both positive, negative, self-understanding, views from others, views from the outside.
Yeah, stuff like that, right? Now step in future. Feel that. And you keep doing that. And what I like about that is that it has you physically discern and make a distinction of a particular, when you're in a particular constellation or feeling of concerns versus being fully present, right? So now I like the way he does this, and I want to further it, okay? He takes Wincott's notion of the holding environment, which I love that metaphor, right? It's the perfect metaphor, given that we are the most helpless organisms that we know about, right?
For the longest period of time.
Yeah.
We are completely dependent on our parents for the longest period of time.
First womb, right? Mother's belly. Relatively goes good, although latest research says that every emotion that the mother feels, the child feels, right? So it's not as...
So we want to have the mother's feeling a lot of feelings so that the baby has emotional depth.
Yeah, totally. Right? So, second womb.
All right, and by the way, just because, again, it's such... The retro-romantic idea is so deep. The biochemistry that the mother feels, the baby feels.
But the baby doesn't make meaning of it.
Right? It's not.
It doesn't have narratives.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. And emotions are narratives.
The question is though, is that it is the actual energy impactful on the organism.
Yes, and because that constellation of biochemistry is going to go into the brain and potentiate those circuits such that constellation of emotions or that constellation of biochemistry is going to happen if they're brought up in the same family. Most likely they will learn the same narrative to describe that same biochemical state.
Yes, totally.
So that part I agree with, just clarifying. Totally. That's asked about.
So it's the second womb, family, right? All of the dynamics of the family. And what he says is that there's there's a feeling of self that gets fused with the drama and the narratives and the conflicts and the dynamic, that your feeling of self that you recognize and call yourself, right, is fused with those emotions, those moods, those constellations.
That's what's there.
Right? Boom. Right? Third holding environment. Unconsciously recreating the second one to try to resolve it, thereby confirming it and recreating it over and over and over and over again. To maintain a sense, to maintain that feeling of self that holds you. And he has a really cool distinction. He says that, consider that the way you hold